Welcome to Mumversations.
Yeah, the real mum podcast.
Where we speak about mum bullshit.
No filter.
Just raw
Crap. Mum crap.
mum crap, to say the least. But listen, this episode is going to be an episode where it's been highly requested.
Yeah.
I know we said on the last one, if you tuned in, and we appreciate you, on mum identity crisis, we were going to touch on toddler chaos, but I think it's important to go back to day one.
100%.
Pregnancy and newborn.
Yeah.
We've got quite a few friends at the moment that are going through this, right?
Yeah.
One friend that's just gone into newborn stage, a few people we know are pregnant, and so this hopefully will sort of really help whoever's out there in this stage right now
100%.
to cope with it.
Because I think like this is the scariest stage because it's the first stage.
It is.
And then every time you get to the next stage, you look back and you go, it weren't that bad. And anyway, the next stage comes. That it's always a phase, isn't it? And I think that's really important to say because I've got a nurse that I prescribe for that's currently pregnant at the minute. And she said to me the other day, I literally just feel bleh at the minute. She's like 16 weeks, I think. She's petite naturally. So she doesn't really look like she's pregnant yet, but she's just in that, you know, that bloated stage at the start.
Yeah.
You constantly feel constipated. You don't go to the toilet as much as you usually do. And she's like, I just don't want to do pregnancy again. That's what she said to me.
Ready.
She said, yeah, her other half was like, her husband was like, please don't get pregnant again because this is terrible. And I was like, no, honestly, once you get a bump,
Yeah.
you feel so much better.
Oh, 100%.
And I feel like that's the first bit, isn't it? It's the bloating where you're like, oh,
am I just fat or have I got actually a baby in there?
but yeah, have I eaten too much? But actually, you're pregnant and it's normal. And we all literally feel like that.
Yeah.
And then you either have already or then you start being sick.
Oh, and that's what I mean. I think like even that first stage of like having the severe bloating, I mean, people talk about it, but again, it's like, hello, like, is this normal? I mean, because my sister-in-law's pregnant right now, right?
Yeah.
And she literally said to me, Sophia, I'm going to be huge. Look at my belly. And I said, but there's so much water retention and so much bloating, but I get it. It's almost like you almost think if I'm this uncomfortable, not even 12 weeks yet, oh my gosh, what is it going to be like when I get to the end?
Yeah.
And it's like your body changes the whole time.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hard thing is coming to the realization of, is this going to be me now for 9 months?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to have a belly. I mean, I loved it because I got to the point of feeling like, you can't tell whether I've eaten a big meal or I'm growing a child inside of me. Who gives a fuck?
Who cares? And I said to her name's Harriet, I was like, Harriet, when your baby starts moving, it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
So it's so worth it. At the minute, you can't feel anything because they're so tiny.
Yeah.
You feel bloated. But honestly, the deeper into your pregnancy you get, and when you start talking and the baby starts responding and you put your hand there and they kick you, it's just so worth it.
You really do not feel like it's real till you get to that phase.
No.
I feel like, like even one of our friends said it was like, it still hasn't really hit me because I can't feel them. Like, I don't really feel like I've got this like proper pregnancy bump. It's like, it's just a bit hollow and you know what I mean? And I think once you really get to that point where you're like, oh shit, I've got a full human in here.
Yeah.
This is wild. Like they're moving around. Then it kind of really hits. But like you said about Harriet almost saying like she feels like she's lost herself already.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing. You do. We touched on it, I think even in the first episode.
Yeah.
Where we said about the mum identity crisis follows you from day one.
It does.
Like day one, you feel different, don't you?
Yeah.
You're everything in your mind. Well, for me personally as well, I feel like everything in my mind suddenly shifted. I didn't feel like I felt like myself, but I feel like there was elements of it where I was a bit like, what do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to do? Like, what happens at the end? Do you remember every time we used to sit there and we'd go, you know what's crazy? There's 2 humans inside our bellies right now. Because for anyone that hasn't watched yet and doesn't know, mine and Lily's daughters are 10 weeks apart.
Yeah.
So we were lucky enough to be able to share our pregnancy journeys with each other very close. And so I think we were literally always at that point where we go, but at the end, you leave the hospital and you're like, okay, what the fuck do I do now? Am I supposed to look after this human for the rest of my life and like know what I'm doing. And I feel like that is, for me, that was the scariest part of it all. Because you just know, and I think we'll touch on it later in this episode about how you kind of prepare yourself for getting to the point of like birthing your child. I think that main bit of like, what do I do at the end of it all scared me the most. And I think that's where the shift of where you feel like I've lost myself already, because you know what the end result is. You know the achievement that you get by the end of it. You know the gift that you're given, but you also know in a way you're like, oh my God.
Now I've got a baby that I have to look after. You know, one of Scott's friends said, when you leave the hospital, they delivered their baby at the same hospital as you, so you'll know this. They didn't do this for me, but they give you a leaflet about what to do with your baby. And they literally brought their baby home and they both looked at each other and they were like, she's crying, get the leaflet. And that come from him. He was like, get the leaflet. I don't know what we do with this baby. Get the leaflet. The leaflet will tell us what to do. But you just figure it out.
Oh, you do. I feel like you really, really underestimate yourself. Mum instincts. Yeah. This was another thing. We put it on our Instagram for all of you to kind of get involved with about mum instincts. And we're definitely going to do an episode on this because nobody trusts that enough.
Apart from you. You know everything.
You do. You just naturally have that baby and you're like, okay, I feel like I got this. Like, you just pick up on cues. I feel like there is a big moment when you have a baby though, where you're like, oh, I don't know if I've got this. Is that the right thing to do? Like, I remember even when Lila was born and I was doing her first nappy and I thought, oh my God, have I put that on right? I really don't want to touch her. Like, I don't want to manhandle her too much. Like, I don't want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd be so, now it's just like boom, boom.
Legs up.
Yeah.
Right. Now you have to tackle them.
Yeah, tackle them to the floor to change their nappy. But I think there's mixed emotions around it. But going back to pregnancy in general, the symptoms. I feel like that's, again, something that's like, I remember your cousin messaging me when she was being sick and she was like, Sophia, how on earth do I deal with this?
Yeah.
And I was like, honestly, it is the most exhausting and hardest thing in the world. And I don't care what people say. Like, I remember some people were like, Core, the amount of times Soph said she feels sick. And I was like, but for real, it's like, I do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I genuinely feel sick. I'm being sick. As well as feeling sick, I pretty much threw up every time I said it.
You did.
And I think people don't deep it till they're in that situation where they're like, oh God.
And I don't think they can until they've done it. Because,
No.
like, I followed the whole sick in the start of your pregnancy and then it goes, whereas yours didn't. Yours continued the whole way through. And then you speak to someone else and I wasn't sick at all.
No. Like, I remember when one of our friends was like, oh, it's horrible, I just feel sick but I haven't been sick. And I thought, mate, try doing both. Feeling sick, but when you're sick in pregnancy, one thing people are like, yeah, but then if I'm sick, I just feel better. And I'm like, no, that's the problem. You don't. Like, it's just a continuous feeling of feeling sick, throwing up, and that doesn't do anything. It's not like a bug.
And it doesn't just happen in the morning.
No. Morning sickness is bollocks. Fuck morning sickness. It's morning, afternoon, evening, night, snack time, whatever it is. Like, it's just any point in the day that will just hit you like a bag of shit. And it did.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what time of day it was. I was sick. So where this morning sickness comes from, I would love to know.
Yeah. And for me, like I said, I didn't really have the sickness. The thing that I genuinely found the hardest was sleeping.
Yeah.
Because I'm a front sleeper and a side sleeper. And what one can you sleep on your right side or your left? I can't remember. You can only sleep on one side.
We need to search this and put it in.
We do. Christ, search it and get the facts.
Get the facts.
Please,
is it your right or your left?
Right or left side. But it's then the pregnancy pillow.
Yeah.
Scott was like, that pillow, the minute you have given birth, is going out the fucking window. Excuse my language. But for them as well, me and Scott top and tailed at the end.
Yeah.
I was like, I'd rather have your feet than your body. Like, sleeping was awful. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to lie.
You were fine.
Yeah.
Again. Different.
Because I would have the sickness, but actually, I slept like a log.
You slept fine.
I did. But then so that would then take me to the only times that I felt like I didn't sleep very well. And this is something that I feel like is a bit of a taboo subject for a lot of people because sometimes you're made to feel like you're overthinking it. But they say, right, when you start feeling your baby in pregnancy, you'll get to a certain point where you kind of feel a pattern. And I thought, there is no pattern. Like, how am I supposed to? Lila's not going to suddenly go, all right, I'm going to boom, boom, bang every day at this time, exactly the same way I do every single day.
Yeah.
And they're fine. She was a very active baby. And like for you, you had your placenta anterior.
Is it the front?
The front.
Yeah.
So obviously movement's reduced anyway from the feeling of it, right? But for me, mine was at the back. So feeling was like super strong. And because she was so active, sometimes then when I'd go to sleep, suddenly I'd wake up thinking, she hasn't moved that much. So, of course, midwives will drill into you all the time, if there's any change in movements whatsoever, come in. But then I feel like you get pushed to the side of like, what do you mean? Like, everything's fine. I'm sure, it's all good, da-da-da-da. And you're almost made to feel like a bit of you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, are you sure that your baby's not moving? Like, you're sure that you haven't felt her and maybe you just kind of like took your attention off it for a minute. You can be doing something and just think, oh, do you know what, actually? I haven't felt her all day.
Yeah, it's like, all right, Stephanie, I'm making up that name. I have no ultrasound machine, so I cannot see inside my stomach if my baby's okay. So if I think my baby is not moving, then I'm going to come in.
Yes, and trust your intuition. I have a friend that's like, oh, I rang them and they said everything would be fine. I'm like, so?
Just go in.
Go in. Like, that is, sorry, but that is what the reason their job is there, is so that we go in with these situations so they can catch things at different points, right? And so I remember I would always go in and I would just feel this sense of like, am I being stupid?
Yeah. I would walk up towards the door and press the buzzer and then they let you in and then there's a desk.
Yeah.
And I'd stand at the desk and I'd feel like I'd have to over-exaggerate it for them to listen to me. And then I'd step back and think, no, it's so simple. My baby is not moving as much as they usually do. That is why I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't need to make up that I feel hot, I feel sweaty, I feel really ill. Facts are, my baby's not moving. Yeah. So put me on the monitor and listen. And I'd rather you say to me, she's fine, go home.
Yeah. And the other thing is, stop telling people that your babies get into a pattern. They don't get into a pattern. They move, but there is no exact pattern of time and day. Like, for example, only when I'd gone in loads of times with the worry of like, oh my God, is she okay? They were like, well, when you're walking around, it's like a hammock swinging. So that might put them to sleep. And then when you're laying down, hit the microphone, it's almost like they're suddenly like, well, hold on a minute. Mum's not moving. Yeah. Like, nothing's happening now. I'm awake. I'm alive. Like, I'm going to kick around. They don't explain this enough. And so then I think people are like really in their heads about, well, I don't feel like my baby has a pattern yet. And it's like, I don't think they do though. I could never tell you the exact time, day and movement that Lila had and it was consistent throughout. She was just active and that's all I knew.
But then again, every baby's different. So I just think the key factor for this is if you're not sure, go in and don't feel shy and nervous to go in because they are moody when they answer the phone because they're having a shit day and maybe they're on their third long day of the week and you're the 100th person to walk through the door. That's a them problem. That's not a you problem. Exactly. So go in and let them check you. And hopefully within half an hour, you're in your car and you're on your way back home, right?
And equally, if a baby's not as active, also don't class that as there's a problem, like you just said.
Still go in.
But no baby's the same, like you said. So you might have a baby that naturally compared to your friend is not as active and that's just how they are, right? But that's what I'm saying. I think the message around what midwives give sometimes with tracking those movements, I would just go by mum intuition. Yeah. Like, just go by how you feel, like you say. Which leads me on to, so sickness-wise, when we were talking about that, I think that's something, again, like I said, trying to deal with that on a regular basis, especially if, like, I always think to myself, if you've got a toddler and you're pregnant with your second and you're being sick like that, like, how? That's the only thing, that's what scares me probably going pregnant again, is the idea of I don't actually know how I would deal with that moving forward.
Miss Rachel, get her on the telly. Watch that, Lila, mum is just being sick.
Yeah.
But one of my clients said exactly the same thing. She was like, I was sick as a dog in pregnancy, so I need to wait for my child to be like 3 or 4 so that they can entertain themselves because I know that I'm going to be the same again. And you said the same to me.
Yeah. I was like, if this is how it is every time, then damn. Like, I'm not sure how my energy levels would be able to sit. But then I suppose you don't have as much time to dwell on it.
No.
Like, I was very like, oh, I feel sorry for me. Like, I'm being sick every day. But now I feel like it would just be like, get on with it.
Get a bucket.
Yeah.
Get a bag.
Yeah. And the accidents that I would have, because I'm touching on what you said earlier, when your baby's pushing on your bladder, the further you get into pregnancy, yes, you do pee yourself. Every time I was sick, peed myself. So I would get to the point of getting a routine where it was like, I'm not going to wear pants. I'm not going to put trousers on half the time when I'm walking around the house. And believe you me, if I'm over that toilet, there's a towel down within a second.
Yeah.
Because all I used to hear when I'd be sick at some point was that in the toilet and then shh on the floor. And I'd look and I'd be like, I'm sat in a puddle of piss and I'm being sick. This is great. Fucking what? Like, so just not the type of glamorous.
Deck was quite good though, wasn't he? Like, some guys with sick find it quite awful, but he was good, wasn't he?
He was very good. Like, I feel by the end of it, he got used to it. Even though, sorry, exclaimer, Declan is the worst person for being sick. Help me. Yeah. I'm being sick. And I thought, did you watch how many times I was sick, bro, in my pregnancy? Like, get over it. Literally. Do you know what I mean? Being sick like 5 times from a bug and then you're over it. For me, because I was sick every day, I was like, I don't have any sympathy for you now. No. Like, I've done it. I've been there. But yeah, the peeing yourself is a real thing. And I did it in the car. The one thing that I'm proud of myself for is I never had an accident. As in, I was never sick in the car. It's like I knew instinctively.
Because you got used to it.
Yeah. So I was like, pull over, pull over, pull over. And I'd be, do you remember when I threw up around the corner from your house? Yes. And Scott took Frank for a walk the next day. This is their dog. Took Frank for a walk the next day. And he was like, so is this your dinner from last night? Because Frank started eating it. And I was like, no, I'm so embarrassed. But I couldn't. If it wasn't on the sidewalk, am I American? It wasn't on the pavement. I'd have thrown up in the car. Yeah.
So sickness, bloating, not being able to sleep, totally normal.
Yeah.
Totally normal. And then you have your baby. Can I just say, I didn't realise how many pads you needed to take to the hospital.
I know.
It's the bleeding once you've had your baby, like that you're not prepared for. And I felt embarrassed to ask the midwife for more.
More pads.
More. I had to send Scott out to go and get some. So that's the next thing, because you're like, okay, I've now had my baby. And you still bleed, by the way, if you've had a C-section, because my cousin said that to me. So you're sore, you've either got a C-section scar, and then you're bleeding. Then you have to deal with all of that. Totally normal. Again.
It is totally normal. But it's just not, no one speaks about it. Same thing as before, like, we even get to the point of having your baby, right? I think we need to tell everybody, because we touched on this in the first episode, about our hypnobirthing on the lead up to when you give birth, because I think this is a big thing to talk about. So me and Lily went to the Positive Birth Company.
Yeah, it was online.
Yeah, like amazing. And they do an online sort of course. There's loads of different segments and it's videos that you watch, isn't it?
They're like modules.
Modules, yeah. And I think our drive for this, or my personal drive, but I feel like it was the same for you because obviously you were pregnant ahead of me with Nelly, was I don't know what to expect, but also it's petrifying. Giving birth, if you had asked me before getting pregnant, how do you feel about birth? I'd be like, no, I don't want to do it. It scares the fucking life out of me. And it is. No one gives it enough credit. Like, guys, I'm sorry, but disclaimer, this is not coming from, anything in terms of that it's gospel, but women do die in labour.
Yeah, they do.
Like, it's the biggest thing you will ever put yourself through in your life. I also read something, not saying it's fact, but I read something that there's 2 most painful things in the world. The first one is being burned alive. The second is having a baby. So when you deep that, no one gives that enough credit already, where it's like, oh yeah, you gave birth to a baby and now in like 6 months' time, you're not going back to work. And you think, what? What do you mean? Like, just give me some credit. It doesn't matter which way the baby came out, C-section or vaginal. Like, no. You went through labour and it's a big thing. And so I think, I don't blame all of us women, especially when you're a first-time mum, that you're like, I don't want to give birth.
Yeah. But then you give birth and you're like, well, they've got to come out one way or the other. And you've got no choice in it. No. They're coming.
100%.
They're coming.
I feel like if you know more about your body, which is what hypnobirthing teaches, I think, like I said in the first one, a lot of people think you sit there and get hypnotized, has nothing to do with it. They teach you so much about how your body works within when you're going into labour, and that actually women's bodies are incredible and they're made and designed for a reason.
What did it say on there? I remember going through this part of the module and it was like, if you look at a mammal giving birth, what they do is they go into a nice dark little place and they just do it in their own time. Whereas you go into the hospital, if you've not done your hypnobirthing before, then you don't really know that what you go into in the hospital actually isn't natural.
No.
So they've got all the lights on, there's loads of people around you. So obviously your body naturally isn't going to be relaxed.
No.
And when you look at the mammals, they're in a dark place.
On their own.
On their own, they're left alone and they deliver beautifully.
Yeah. And you remember she mentioned that thing on there about if you were going for a poo, would you want 20 people sitting around you watching you go for a poo? No. You would be that nervous, the poo probably wouldn't come out.
Yeah.
Or you'd be holding in. Like, it's factual. That's how your body would naturally react, like, to anything, right? She says...
And the module was only like $25.99 or something like that. It wasn't that expensive, but it was like invaluable. Like, it was so good. And because we've never had, or at the time, we'd never had a baby before, you don't know what to expect.
No.
And you watch One Born every minute and you're right, what I need to do is go in, scream and shout, moo, and then I have my baby. But actually,
it's just
it's so different.
Yeah, it is.
And they dramatise, and she says this on the module. She's like, One Born every minute dramatises absolutely everything. And it petrifies you as a first-time mum that's pregnant to go and have your baby. So I would say, even if you watch it and you think, I'm not doing that, at least do it. It only takes up a small amount of your time, but it prepares you and it makes you think this is actually not as scary as the TV makes out. Like, you watch EastEnders and they come running down the stairs and they're shouting and screaming and they're like holding on to the sides.
Get this baby out of me!
Exactly. And you think, fuck, that's what I'm going to have to go through.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, it's not painless.
No,
but
by any stretch it's not.
It's not as bad as people make out.
No.
And they have got to come out. So as a first-time mum, and if you're pregnant, please don't feel petrified to have your baby, because it's fine and you'll be okay.
It is. And I feel like everyone I used to speak to before being pregnant, it was negative. Yeah. There was never a good story. And I was like, is someone going to tell me at some point, like, this is actually doable in a nice kind of environment?
Yeah.
And then, of course, I saw an influencer on Instagram before I ever got pregnant, and she had such an amazing birth story with her son. And I thought that was the first inkling for me where I was like, okay, like, this can be, I mean, listen, giving birth to life is beautiful in any way, shape or form that it comes. But I think there can be a way to somewhat, in a weird way, enjoy it.
Yeah.
And so that's what hypnobirthing brings a lot to it. And I think also for me, but I would definitely say by the end of my pregnancy, I was not fearful to give birth.
No.
I was excited. I actually felt excited, like, you know, I'm ready to do this. And I think by implementing that naturally as well, like, it brings your stress levels down. We all know stress levels is never good.
And what she does well is she also goes through what you can do if you do have a C-section. So hypnobirthing isn't just to give birth vaginally. It's for any birth.
Induction.
And it's also really good for the partner. Now, I will say Scott didn't watch any of it. Now, if I was to have another baby, I would make him sit and watch it, because I think they need to be on ball as well.
Absolutely.
That's the right word.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, the influencer that I follow, she did hypnobirthing for both of hers, and her other half watched it as well.
Yeah.
It's incredible when you're kind of both on that board, you know what to do. It's incredible what you can achieve as a team.
Yeah.
Of course, this is not disputing, like I said before, I never had a plan. And I think when they say, like, what's your plan? It's fucking pointless, because I'm sorry, you can do hypnobirthing and still something might happen. That is just the way of birth. But I think if you can at least train your brain a little bit more to understand the basics of how incredible your body is and what it does do to prepare you for labour, it's a bit easier then to be able to be accepting of it.
Yeah.
Because some people aren't accepting of it. They're like, yeah, but I know I have to give birth, but I don't want to. And I'm petrified. And the more you fight that, you can cause yourself to go into different situations, which is why, like you said, she mentions a lot about having a C-section, but also she mentions about induction.
Yeah.
Because this is the reason where I learnt about sweeps when I was pregnant, and when I was late with Lila, so I was 6 days late. And when I got to sort of a couple of weeks before I was her due date, so I was 38 weeks.
Yeah.
They obviously threw that anomaly thing that I mentioned about her weight. And so I remember them saying to me, but she's probably going to be quite a big baby, which I was thinking, okay, so you're already trying to tell me that my body's not going to be able to birth this child. She was 9 pounds, but there's people that birth 11 pounders, like vaginally, or 12 pounds before, you know what I mean? So I sort of thought, I'm not even really getting a chance here. And if I hadn't done the hypnobirthing, I genuinely probably would have just accepted an induction because that's what they said to me. But because I knew about sweeps from what I'd learned, which are really interesting. I mean, they're the most uncomfortable thing ever.
Oh, I think I said to you the other day, now I've spoken to you, I probably would have one. But that was one thing that I was petrified for. I remember being in labour and she was like, you're 3 centimetres, but I could give you a quick sweep if you want and that'd probably get you to 4. And I was like, no way, get out. But actually, that's because I hadn't seen them work, because I hadn't known anyone that had one and I didn't really know much about them. Whereas you did, because you did your research. And how many did you have?
3.
3, and they worked.
I mean, TMI, disclaimer. I mean, they shove their fingers up as far as they can to literally get round the membranes. But that combined with, like I said, sex, which is horrific at that stage, but genuinely the hormone that is produced in natural semen from a man is the hormone they use when they induce you.
Yeah.
But you can never get the same strength in induction as you could in a natural semen.
I think they use pig, don't they?
No,
did you tell me that?
Bull?
Pig. Oh, bull.
I thought it was bull.
That's it.
I mean,
We're
again,
not
we have no idea, but I'm sure I heard that before. It's freaking bull sperm or something.
Yeah.
But they basically try and match the levels of what it'd be in a man.
Yeah.
So guys, if you've got a partner and you're lucky enough to be in that situation,
have sex.
Yeah, have it. It's horrible, but have it. Because I'm sure I had the sweet.
You sounded northern then.
Have the sweet.
Have it.
but like literally, you can sit on a Sunday. You can sit down on a Sunday. On a Sunday, I had the sweep.
Yeah.
And then I had sex
that night.
Monday, and then within the middle of the night is when I woke up in pain.
Oh.
So, and listen, I am not saying that's going to work for everybody. I'm really not.
No.
But what I am saying is, before you feel like, especially for first-time mums who have never done it before, when learning from hypnobirthing, you feel so much more in control of your body.
You do.
Like I was able to say to that doctor, no, I do not want an induction.
No.
You can give me a sweep. And my midwife pulled me aside after and was like, I am so happy that you said that.
Yeah.
I was like, why? She was like, nobody says this. She was like, I don't ever see any new mums coming in asking for a sweep. She was like, I'm literally like so proud of you. And she was like a student midwife as well.
Yeah.
Bless her. And I was like, oh, it's really nice to hear. But then I also felt a bit like, that's really sad. Like there's obviously so many mums that get just shoved in for,
but
right,
that's because they just don't know any different.
No. Which is like, again, push on hypnobirthing. It's worth every second of just taking out an hour of your time to watch some modules and just understand it better.
Yeah.
But we're not guaranteeing that anyone's birth is going to be perfect based on it.
No.
I just think it gives you that knowledge to relax into your pregnancy more with the expectation of, I'm going to give birth at the end of this.
Yeah.
Whichever way it happens, I feel somewhat accepting and okay of that.
And I think when doctors are so, that's their normal every day, they're like, okay, you're overdue, induction. When you then throw that in of can I have a sweep? Sometimes you knock them back to, oh yeah, we can offer sweeps as well,
Yeah.
Because if they're so used to every day saying, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, they then probably forget that actually there's other options.
Yeah.
But they want to make sure, and we are saying as well, that you're doing the most safest thing. Like the doctors know their stuff, and if they think for whatever reason the safest way is for your baby to come out, then absolutely you need to do what they're saying. But your pregnancy was pretty low risk. You knew Lila was fine. Like you said in the other podcast, you'd had your scans, your placenta was working.
Yeah.
You knew from her moving and everything that you could buy yourself a couple of days, a few sweeps before you would then make the next
Final decision.
And then she
Absolutely.
came.
Yeah. And then she came. And like, honestly, no one, I mean, I definitely think whichever way you're going to do it, when you say you're going to breathe them out, I breathed her out, but I definitely, like, mooing is a thing.
Yeah. Do you want to know how I got Nelly out?
Oh, please tell.
So I did my hypnobirthing, but then for whatever reason, I didn't dilate. So they had to give me a bit of induction. The induction was horrific in my head. I'm a warrior and I panic and I can't deal with like stubbing my toe. So I did have an epidural, and I watched Bridesmaids, and the midwife said to Scott, nah, she's not going to come tonight. Like, you dilate this many centimetres over this many hours. I can't remember exactly what it was. She'll be here by the morning. It was literally nearly the end of the shift. I was watching Bridesmaids, by the way. And she went, oh, Lily, your baby's head's there. You can start pushing in half an hour. Scott was like on his laptop doing work. He was like, what do I do? She was like, come pull a chair up next to Lily if you want. I was like, do I turn my film off? Or honestly, because I did not feel a thing. She was like, you can continue watching your film. And then half an hour passed. She said, when you feel a contraction, push. I was like, I don't think you understand me. I cannot feel anything. So she was like feeling. And then when I was pushing, she was like, you can make a noise if you want to. I was like, what for? I can't feel anything. I genuinely felt nothing.
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 I
No.
literally remember you telling me, I WhatsApped my mum and saying, I think I need to push in a minute.
Yeah. Mum texted me, how are you getting on? I said, I'm allowed to push in half an hour.
Oh my God. Whereas in my case, I didn't get time to even text you that I'd gone into labour.
No.
It was so like boom, boom, boom. I feel like it happened so fast. And then, I mean, I'm not going to lie, like, yes, the pain is unbelievable. I don't remember it though. And it's like when they say about mammals, you know, when they shake after giving birth?
No.
Yeah, so mammals shake because it's actually like your body shaking off the trauma of like to not remember the pain.
Oh.
That happens. Women do it as well in birth. I don't think you'd ever notice it that you're doing it, but your body like shakes to almost forget the trauma of the pain. Because if you ask anyone, by the time you've a year postpartum, you can remember that it was painful, but you would never be able to remember the pain because the whole point is that you'll do it again.
Yeah, otherwise you wouldn't.
Exactly. If you could pinpoint the exact feeling of the pain, your body wouldn't want you to go and get pregnant again. So that's the idea of it. But mine was moving through the gas and air tube, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that definitely makes you high, but it helps you deal with the pain, but I could feel everything.
Yeah, but then the influencer you were talking about, she couldn't do the gas and air, could she?
No, because she felt like she'd lose focus. So then yeah, exactly.
So everyone's is so different.
Yeah, and it's incredible what your body does when you're actually in the phase of you're ready to push baby. I think the biggest thing for me that I was like, I cannot believe this is happening right now, is I said to my midwife, I need to push, like, please let me push. And I always was interested to know what mums meant by that when they would say, like, I wanted to push. And I thought, what do you mean? Like, surely you'll just know. Your body just does it for you. Like, I literally remember having to cross my legs at 7.5 centimetres because she said, Sophia, if you push now, you're going to blow your cervix up and then you could cause a problem. And I remember feeling my whole body shaking and that she was wanting to come out herself. It was like I was holding the biggest poo of my life. Honestly, I was like, I actually need to push this child out, please. And then I got to the point, I'll be honest, where I remember vaguely hearing my mum, because I think I touched on this briefly in the previous podcast. I had my mum and my partner in there for reasons of the fact that one of my mum's friends is a midwife. She has been for 30 years. And she actually said, by looking at studies, some women tend to labour better with another woman in there, which is why, there are like doulas and stuff. Because with all respect to men, and you are all amazing and appreciate this situation is wild, but for them, they just look at it and think, I need to fix it. And it's like, you can't fix that situation. You have to let go in that moment. Some of them find it hard to do it. So when they see you in pain, she said to my mum, the men will go, hello, help her. It's like, I can't. She's having a baby. Like, you got to let it be. That's one thing you just can't do in that situation. So I think for women, and for my mum, she found it an unbelievable experience because obviously she's given birth 3 times, but she's never seen it happen. Which I was like, don't tell me. Like, seriously.
I don't want to know.
Don't tell me what my vagina was doing in that moment, thanks. But so like her being in there, I think that gave me the sense of like a bit more calm. But I do remember at one point her saying, maybe we need to get what is that painkiller called? Pethidine. And as they were getting that ready, I then heard her say, oh, Sophia, you're at 9.5, you can push. And I think my mum and Declan said they got really emotional at one point because they were worried. Like, they sort of felt like this is taking a long time.
Yeah.
And it is. Like, you progress over a very slow period of time, especially on your first. And I remember literally saying, thank fucking, like, I was literally like, all of a sudden, my mindset just changed, and I was like, thank God, like, let me freaking push this baby out. And I flipped on all fours, which is really weird because if you think about mammals, they're on all fours normally and they just let the baby drop out, don't they, with gravity?
Yeah, because they've got 4 legs.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They can't do anything else.
Well, I flipped on all fours. I've got 2 arms, 2 legs.
Yeah.
But it was like that feeling of let gravity do its thing. And then I was fuming because as her head was coming out, she said, Sophia, you're going to have to turn on your back because we still can't quite get her heartbeat. And I thought, for fuck's sake, like this is going against everything that I really want to do right now to help myself. But I remember her coming out and I didn't cry. I thought I was going to cry. I'm a very emotional person normally. But I think you're so in shock sometimes. Yeah. It's almost like...
Have you seen it, though, where some women are so delirious that they're like, what is this?
Yeah.
It takes them like a couple of minutes to then go, oh, fuck, that's my baby that I've just pushed out. And then you relax. Yeah. Positive Birth Company, last night, to be fair, if you go on their Instagram, they post like quite a lot of delivery photos.
Yeah.
And one of the photos is a head literally coming out of the vagina. And Scott last night was like, no, I cannot see that. But it's fascinating what your body can do.
Incredible. Like,
it's like how? But then you see them photos and you think, oh, okay, that's how.
Yeah. Like, the only thing that Dex said to me in the labour room was, so she's got so much hair. I was thinking to myself, fuck off, let me concentrate. But in the back of my head, I was thinking, stop. Like, and
you can see her.
Yeah, like he did not want to go down that end. My mum stayed well down there. She was buzzing.
Did she?
She did.
Well, she was right down there.
She was explaining to me. She was like, it starts like this, and then it literally you just see this head starting to come out, and I was like, oh wow, like
wow,
which is pretty incredible. But obviously, I was like, oh, it's me. And also, sorry, can we just talk about what winds me up sometimes when women go, no, I don't think I pooed. Mate, I pooed about twice.
Did you?
Yes. I could feel it. I knew straight. I mean, Deck was like, they're unbelievable. They scoop it away like you wouldn't even know it happened. But I absolutely knew you're pushing for the hell of your life at that point.
One of my mum's friends is a midwife, and she said when she sees a woman poo, that means they're pushing properly. Oh. Again, coming from a midwife, this is not me saying it. But she said she likes to see poo because when she sees poo, like you're pushing properly.
Mate, and I pooed twice.
There you go.
And then I said, Deck, I did poo, and I was like, yeah, you did. I didn't want to tell you. I said, mate, I could smell it. Don't worry about that. You didn't even have to tell me. I was like, I just knew straight away. So I'm sorry for anyone that's like embarrassed by it. Don't be like, it's the most normal thing.
Yeah.
So people that go, no, I don't think I pooed. I'm like, come on. Like, fair play if you haven't, but most of the time it will happen. And then, newborn phase, your baby's here.
Yeah, I was literally going to say, when you've had your baby, I remember you came to see me like 10 minutes after this had happened.
I did, I felt so privileged.
And they'd just done like the newborn checks and my emotions were everywhere. And they were doing what they needed to do. And they did something to Nelly that really upset her. I don't know what it was. They look at their back or check their hips. And she was hysterical. And I was just sat there watching them make my baby cry, which they weren't inflicting pain on her. They were just doing the checks. And Scott picked her up. I'll never forget this. Put her on his shoulder and she stopped crying. And I just started sobbing because I was like, she knows that's her dad. And then now I look back at it and I think, oh my God, Lily. But I was sobbing over the most ridiculous things.
Well, it's not ridiculous.
Well, yeah, no, true.
It is
but
ridiculous.
I just remember seeing her little eyes here. As soon as she went on Scott, she stopped. And that doctor was trying her hardest to try and settle my baby, or our baby, mine's Scott's baby, and she couldn't. And then it was just Scott taking her, and I was like, ah!
Oh, it is that much. Like, I don't even remember, because Lila was on me. That's another thing they teach you in hypnobirthing, golden hour, guys. Yeah. Like, have your baby
midwives are really good at
amazing for the first hour. And like, the weirdest feeling was when I had her on me and I could still feel the umbilical cord from her into my vagina on the placenta, because you have to give birth to that, which is fun. And I remember just sort of sitting there, feet up in stirrups next minute, and you're getting stitched.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't remember really a lot of it. I feel like that bit's like a real big blur. And the main thing that I was worried about was, Mum, you can have the baby for a minute. I need to go in the shower. I've got blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I just need to shower off. Do you know what I mean? You know, you get that feeling of like, I need some normality now of like taking away from birth, 100%. But I think now talking about sort of newborn stage for people that are getting to this point or are in pregnancy and you're expecting a baby, I think the bit for me that threw me is so I stayed overnight. It's the next day where I was like, I don't know how to put her in the car seat.
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you know what?
Oh, me and Scott put Nelly in her car seat and we both looked at each other and we sobbed because it just hit us. It was that moment when we were putting in her car seat to bring her home that, oh my God, this is our baby.
Yeah.
And I think that's the first time I saw Scott cry at the hospital. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I feel so ridiculous. But again, it's not ridiculous. Like,
It's not.
your emotions, it's like, this is our baby that we're about to walk out the hospital and do the photo.
Yeah.
You know, your little
the famous photo walking down the hall, the corridor.
But you've just got to get the midwife first to check the straps because you're like, is this right? Like you've just said, they're so tiny.
Tiny.
And yeah.
They're like a little dot in that car seat. I was like, have I put her in right?
And it's the fact that we came here as just the two of us and then you're leaving and there's
as a three. And you go home and like I said to you, you are just fully responsible for this little human that is fully dependent on you and you are solely responsible to keep alive.
I remember you texting, she sat over there, but you were like, Shauna literally saw Lila and just burst into tears.
She did. My sister was
you
like,
walked into your mum's.
Like she's in the studio today, guys.
So even for your family, it's like, God.
She's like, my sister had a baby.
Yeah.
And my sister's best friend, who is also with us today.
Yeah.
They were the same. They were so emotional. I feel like because it just suddenly, that feeling of like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
She's had a baby, like, and she's here. Like,
they've seen you be sick. They've seen you get bigger. They've gone through everything with you as a family. A bit of the labour as well. Then you're in the hospital, you have your baby, and then you bring that baby.
Oh my God. Honestly. And the feeling of it is like, but it's like, it's really unexplainable, but I also think, it's so important, and it is very hard when it's your first baby, but it is so important to absorb every freaking minute of them being a newborn, because like I said to you before, I just wish that I took it in even more. There's certain things where I'm like, I think sometimes the pressures now around social media and stuff, you know, when you see like people that are very au fait with like filming and doing their social media and they get all these like wonderful, beautiful, perfect photos of their newborn and videos.
Yeah, or them when they've just pushed the baby out.
Mate, I didn't look like that.
No.
I looked absolutely like death. Every colour had been wiped out of me. I was as pale as a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
My hair was the vilest colour I've ever seen in my life. I just, do you know what I mean? Like I had, because I don't know if anyone else experienced this, but I had like darker spots on my face. Was my skin pigmentation?
Yeah.
Yeah. My skin, and my hair. My hair had gone super curly. I was like, where the fuck has this come from?
Yeah.
Since giving birth to her, it was like everything changed. But yeah, I think like when you see that on social media, sometimes I said to myself, did I take as many photos as I should have? Did I take as many nice videos of her as a newborn? I don't even think. But then sometimes I'm like, no, like you just need to live in the moment as well.
Yeah.
You can't do everything. Sometimes you just got to take it in. It is a shame that you can't bottle those moments up. But I know. Like even just the cuddles of like a newborn stage.
Yeah.
But I think to prepare you for that, like, I think is a difficult one. I don't think that you can ever prepare yourself for the way you're going to feel when you get home and you've got a newborn baby. As me and Lily touched on in the previous episode on the first one, you have this severe teary stage.
Oh God.
You go through, and like I said, I read, not facts, but I read that the come down of pregnancy is equivalent to coming off 500 pills a day. I can't even fathom what that even looks like. But I think my biggest thing that I would say to my old pregnant self is just be really kind to yourself, Soph.
Oh God, yeah.
Like seriously, like just give yourself a minute. Like no, there's so many things that come with even after the birth. It's like, I remember, sorry for the TMI disclaimer, but I remember even going for my first poo after giving birth.
Yeah.
No one speaks to you about it. I sat on the toilet for 45 minutes crying, and it felt like I had a knife up my ass. I'm not even joking.
You tore though, didn't you? So from your stitches, someone else did that to me that also tore, like the pooing is the...
It took me 45 minutes, and I remember sitting there thinking, all I want to do now is get to my newborn baby. I can hear her crying. I had people in the house already.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't even poo at this stage. I've got people in the house. It's a horrible feeling, which is why I think there is a part of it where if you've got good boundaries and you can have your time, just as one, even for that first week, highly advised.
I never forget. And I think what you're saying about boundaries is right. And of course, your family want to come and meet your baby.
Yeah.
But I never forget texting my mum, because we had some people over and their kids literally ran upstairs. I was so emotional, because you are. And now I look back at it, I think maybe I was just being a bit dramatic. But they were running upstairs and they brought down Nellie's swing.
Yes.
And I just was holding Nellie, and the younger kid was like, can we put her in the swing? And I'm like, she's been passed around all morning. I just want to leave her. Scott, when I spoke to him about it afterwards, he was like, oh my God, I didn't realise. But I just didn't want her to go in it because I knew she was going to get upset. She went in it and she was hysterical. And I remember sat on the sofa crying because I just wanted to get her back out the swing. And that was my hormones all over the place.
Yeah.
I remember texting my mum being like, I just want these people to go home.
Yeah.
I just don't want them to keep putting my baby in things that I don't want her to go in. And now I'm like, Lily, you're just being a bit silly. But my hormones were like this.
Yeah, but you weren't being silly. Like,
True.
I had so many like episodes of like where I had my midwife come and do the checks, and I'm not being funny, but I had like Declan's family round whilst my midwife is sitting in the living room with me. Then they're like in the kitchen, and like I said on the previous episode, briefly I touched on it, I was frog-legging on the sofa getting my stitches checked, like if everything's healing okay. Super vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like there'd be times where people would turn up and I'd be like, I'm trying to establish breastfeeding. Yeah. Like, I'm sitting here with a fucking tubes hanging out of my tits.
Yeah.
I've got milk spilling out everywhere over my clothes.
Oh, them. I see what you mean. The pumps.
Yeah. Like you can see like full on nipple. And I just think the newborn phase, specifically that first 8 weeks, you'll feel the most vulnerable of your life, I think you've ever felt.
And maybe that's where your partner is the person that steps up and says, do you know what, today we're not having any visitors.
No.
Because there's people that come around mine, immediate family different, that I honestly have never seen since.
Oh, yeah.
Can you remember my boobs? I was breastfeeding. My boobs were so sore. You were over as well. And you and Decca like family, so we don't care. But they left, and I literally said, the door hadn't have even shut, had it. And I was like, thank God I can pump. And I thought,
you shouldn't feel like that though.
No.
Again, it's like push on breastfeeding in your newborn stage. Yet you are made to feel like it's such a taboo thing. Oh, God forbid you have your boob out. It's like, well, how else? Yeah, and unfortunately, this can be a whole nother conversation, but I had a breast augmentation, which I regret massively. And luckily enough, I was able to breastfeed. So unfortunately, my boobs are a bit bigger. And so they are something whereby I can't really be discreet with it either.
No.
But then I was always made to feel like really, really uneasy. And I thought, why? Yeah. Now I look back and think, why?
So maybe advice to new mums is if you want to breastfeed, and we get it that some people don't, or they can't, or they've tried, but if you want to and it's working, to enable it to be as successful as possible, have that as your priority. So it's like, if I'm going to establish breastfeeding, my newborn baby is going to be on my boob every hour. So I need people that are coming to visit to be people who I feel really comfortable around.
Absolutely.
Family members, and that's it. Because then I remember, because I stopped breastfeeding and you continued, breastfeeding then became easier than bottle feeding because you had established that routine. You knew how to get Lila on. You didn't need to heat up a bottle. You didn't need to sterilize anything. So I just think, had I prioritised that a little bit more over other people, I do personally think that my breastfeeding journey would have been different.
100%.
So if and when we have another one, if we're lucky to, that is 100% something that I will prioritise. So if you're a new mum, definitely prioritise you and your baby and your other half.
Not what other people think.
And not what other people think.
Because I do think that's a big reason why a lot of my friends gave up.
Yeah.
Because you feel that sense of like, am I allowed to do that? Am I allowed to go out and, oh God, like what if someone looks at me? And people, as you say to me, Sophia, it's their problem if they're staring at you while you're trying to feed your baby. Like, you're not doing anything derogative in any way. Boobs have been so sexualized and whatever, it's then become a thing of like, how dare you get your boob up?
Remember when we went to Olive's for lunch and Lila was on your boob and you took her off, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And it was like hose piping me across the table.
It was spurting out in like 3 directions as well. And
it's knowing that them things happen, but it's so normal. You're feeding your baby. It's your baby's food.
Oh, it is.
She was tiny then.
She was tiny. And it's relentless. Like even when you want to establish breastfeeding, and like we can talk about breastfeeding on a different thing, but like all of the pumping and then the routine that you get into when you're first trying to establish it. I think for me, the scariest thing for me when you take a newborn home is my thing was leaving her to sleep.
Yeah.
I found it so difficult. For me, I found it really like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? I wish I was able to just put her down in her lovely next to me crib that I spent whatever on to actually have it for a purpose.
Yeah.
And go, that's your lovely sleeping area. I couldn't do it.
I think that then brings us on to really great products that we would recommend or not recommend. And I personally felt like this was great for me, but for you, you didn't really like it because it made you more anxious. But the Owlet sock, I loved it because my background is neonatal nursing. So I've always known newborns as numbers. So I'd want to see what their oxygen levels were and I wanted to see what their heart rate is. But I always say to everyone, is that bit of equipment going to make you more or less anxious? If you're going to feel more anxious with it, then it's obviously a waste of money because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
But if having it on is going to make you less anxious, then obviously invest in it.
Yeah.
So one of Scott's friends, at his 30th, their child was like, how old was Cash? Like 3?
3.
And she still puts it on his foot to this day. I stopped putting it on Nelly at 6 months. My cousin only puts it on Ivy when she's sick. Whereas you got it falsely went off. It scared the living shit out of you, didn't it? And then you didn't use it again.
Because I was like, she's fine, but what the fudge just happened there?
It's the noise, isn't it?
It's a horrible noise. And I think, but that's what I mean. I think we have to normalise as well. It's okay if you just feel like, do you know what, I can't put her down.
Yeah.
Like for people in 30 years ago that gave birth to a baby that says, put your baby down, I think, fuck off. She's my newborn. I've never had a baby before. Like, if I want to hold her all day, every day, 24/7, I'm going to do that. Like, sorry, but don't tell me to put my child down. I'll put her down when I'm ready. Because there comes a point, like now, Nelly and Lila are 17 and 19 months almost.
Yeah.
They don't want to be picked up.
No, it's no.
No, get off me, leave me alone. So you get to that point. So sorry, take in every second of the newborn phase. Do not let people tell you to put your child down.
No.
You want to sleep with them, you want to have a little nap with them on the sofa.
Well, be careful about that.
Well, yeah, fine.
Because that's like the biggest, like falling asleep on the sofa is the biggest SID risk. So just do it safely because we're going to get people come at us for that one. Don't fall asleep on the sofa with your baby.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
But yeah, if
your baby's asleep but you're awake, fine.
Yeah.
The sleeping side of it, not so much. There's, like Lily said, Lily's a nurse. Safe sleeping.
Be safe.
You can safely co-sleep.
Yes,
you can. That's a given. And again, I think that's something where we can talk about co-sleeping on a totally different topic because I think that's a big one that people have asked about as well.
But I think the main point is do what you feel is best for you. So like you've just said, if you want to sit and hold your baby all day, you sit and hold your baby all day.
Yeah.
There's no rules.
There is no rules. There is no handbook to mothering.
No.
Or fathering or just being parents.
Imagine if there was.
I know. What would it even say?
We'd be millionaires. If we could make a handbook.
Go to the leaflet. Find the leaflet.
Find the leaflet.
Tell me what the leaflet says.
But like the irony is there is no leaflet. There's no book. And as parents, even as men, and then obviously as the mum, you just do it.
You find your own way.
You find your own way, and that's what you're made to do.
Yeah, exactly. And you do deal with it. Even when people used to say to me like, "Oh, the poo explosion, changing the nappy scared the life out of me," then you just realise you're like, I've got this. Like, this is fine. You can deal with it. The amount of times I was in a supermarket and Lila and Nate, they would shit right up the back to their hair.
Yeah.
And you'd think, oh, like you'd get flustered. And then I'd think, what am I getting flustered about? Like, this is normal.
Yeah.
This happens. I can deal with this.
Yeah.
I got it.
It's just not worrying about what anyone else thinks because I'm telling you, most people in that supermarket go, I did that. Remember when we did that?
Yeah. Like, I remember we were in London. Do you remember we went for a friend's birthday to London? Lila was tiny. Yeah. And it was very, very, like, hot day, da-da-da-da-da. And I literally remember at one stage, she started screaming. And I thought, that's a scream. Yeah. That's a scream of, like, something's gone on. Anyway, I knew as soon as I took her out the doona and we were running to get the train back home, I knew she'd pooed all the way up her back. And I literally remember getting on the train with this tiny child and about 3 or 4 women were like, oh, do you need any help? Do you need help? And I thought, No, I'm all right, actually. But thank you for asking. Like, you think, like, people genuinely actually have a real, you suddenly have, I mean, not everyone, but you do suddenly get this feeling of like, people start being very, what's the word? Like, it's community. Like, it's very like, oh,
Yeah.
she's got a baby. Do you want to sit down? Oh, you've got a
Yes.
baby. Do you want to help with your buggy? Like,
Yes.
even when we've been on holiday recently, I've had people that go, do you want any help bringing the buggy down and stuff? You just
Yeah.
all of a sudden get this bit of like, people want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And the grannies, they're like,
Oh,
oh, she's cute.
yeah. Or they're like, oh, she's lovely.
Yeah.
Even when I remember going to Aldi, Lala was 6 days old. And she went, oh, how old? And then they want to peep round the hood, don't they? I think moral of the story to all of this on this particular topic about, you know, the first stage of being pregnant, trying to kind of find yourself within all the chaos and then having your newborn stages, block out the motherfucking noise.
Yes.
And just go with how you feel. You can speak to every friend, every colleague, you can watch every influencer on Instagram, but the fact is your situation is not going to be the same as the next woman's.
No.
It's not.
And I just think protect your peace. Like I was saying to someone this morning, actually, I never forget this. So we had friends round and Scott fell asleep when they came over and then they left. And I literally went fucking mental at him for falling asleep. I was like, you're so rude. They've literally come over to meet our baby and you've fallen asleep. And then now I'm out of that. I'm like, poor Scott. Like he was knackered. He was tired. He wasn't in the mood to be hosting people to come over.
No.
And I was so horrible to him. And I remember my friend going, wait till they do this or wait till they do that. And love her to pieces, but that really wasn't helpful at a time when I've got a newborn and we're fucking tired.
Yeah.
So please just protect your peace. Do not listen to what everyone else will tell you. Everyone's stories are different. Just do what works for you
And your partner.
family.
Yeah.
And that's literally our biggest bit of advice.
100%.
Isn't it?
So,
yes.
yeah, leading on to, we just touched on it, but we're going to save it. Leading on to episode 4, we're going to talk about all of the baby gear, if you like.
Essentials.
The baby essentials, the baby
and
products.
the non-essentials.
Yeah. The things we really are happy we got, things we wish we didn't, things that whatever is really spoke about within pregnancy that we think will help you guys. But yeah, we appreciate you as always.
Yeah.
Down to now, episode 4 incoming.
And then remember, if you've got anything to write in, just email us at hello@mumversations.com.
Yes, and please subscribe to our Mumversations podcast, which is currently on YouTube, and our Instagram, which is the same.
And TikTok.
And TikTok, guys, don't forget the TikTok. But yeah, we are excited to continue the journey.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.